makeup releases, a little bit of get ready with me type of video. This was a good year, as in it ended pretty well, because I was planning on, or I had the goal in my head of hitting 500 subscribers, and we are a good bit after that number. Hopefully people aren't going to drop off before I post this video, because that's going to be really bad, but I am so excited about that. I know 500 is such a low number. I mean, there are people who have thousands and thousands more followers than I do, but it's a small channel. We're a tight-knit community, and I'm enjoying this. Hopefully you're enjoying the contents as well. Okay, so quickly mentioning, we're going to talk about new makeup. I have the phone here. I also have a coffee. I have a candle. I'm still in the Christmas zone. I don't even celebrate Christmas, but I'm still in the Christmas zone. The nails are still, so this is gingerbread, and my nails are quickly showing you all. It's Grinch. Also, as you can see, I'm kind of still staying very Christmas, and there's not a lot of new makeup that is released because we're at the end of the year, and I think all brands are in the process of fulfilling things, but we're going to talk about a little bit of new makeup at the same time as me doing my makeup. I'm debating between these two from Adept. Adept has revealed something. Maybe I should do Samarian Sunset. I haven't even used Samarian Sunset. I've used Element 115. I did an eye look here. So let's do Samarian Sunset. Yeah, let's use this one. I'm going to do more looks with both of these palettes. Now let me get started with a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, I want to mention that for my new makeup review releases videos, I always put the channels, the Instagram channels that I use in the description box below. If you're interested in new makeup, you should definitely join those channels. They're tagged in the description box below. Also, I've already primed my eyes with Painterly, and we're going to use Angelica's brushes today. I have all of them washed, and I have the extensions too, and we're going to test them out and see how they're doing. I'm excited. Let me talk quickly about this one. This is a sneak peek from Shellwe Makeup. Beautiful 5-pan. This kind of reminds me of the palettes that released from Kaleidos. You know the Futurism collection. So beautiful, but I'm not buying. I have these colors. I probably can dupe this palette with the singles that I have. Also, generally beauties. Let me just get started because I don't want this video to be super long. I'm going to pick brush number 3, and I'm going to go into Tanagra, and this is going in the outer V, and then I'm kind of blending it into my crease. So my plan for next year, friends, is to just start the year off with a no buy. You all have probably seen my declutter video because it's been my most watched video ever. I'm gonna tag it in the comments below just in case you haven't seen it. And doing that video made me realize that I just have so much makeup and I don't use enough. You know, the most amount of makeup that I use is eyeshadows and lip stuff. I'm probably going to do another declutter of my other things, brushes, etc., just to do these declutters. Also to take an inventory of the stuff that I have, but the most things that I have are eyeshadows and lips, and neither of them is essential. I mean, you don't need eyeshadow to live. Maybe you need moisturizer to, you know, maintain a certain type of skin, but eyeshadow and lip stuff is a luxury. I hate to say it. Trust me, I hate to say that, but this is the truth. Okay, I'm now going to go into this beautiful pinky one. Let me use the new brush. This is number 6. It's called Positronic Net. I'm putting this on the inner half of my lid, but only on my crease area. I'm gonna put a different color across the lid. The next thing I want to talk about, and I'm pretty sure this is no longer available, but let's talk about it just in case, is the Beautylish Lucky Bag that came out 2 days ago, the day after Christmas. And the interesting thing about this year's Lucky Bag is that I get the link because I have purchased Lucky Bags in past years. I haven't bought it in, like, I don't think the past 2 years, but I bought it like at least 4 times before. And friends, I never got anything that I absolutely needed to have. and I saw people unbox boxes that had things that I wanted, but I never got anything that I wanted. I got a lot of expensive stuff. If you saw my declutter video, I got like Charlotte Tilbury Starry Eyes to Hypnotize palette, which is probably like 70 something dollars, but it's an all neutral palette. I would never use that. But what I was gonna say about this lucky bag is that I just randomly was going through my emails at like 3 p.m. and I was like, oh yeah, the lucky bag also, let me look at the link. And usually in past years, you needed to pick up the lucky bag when it launched. Like if you missed it, you missed it. But this time, every single one, even XL, was still available. So this tells me two things. Either they have expanded their inventory so that they're now doing more lucky bags. You know, let's say if in past years they would do 1,000 lucky bags, now they're doing 10,000 just to deplete inventory so they still had stuff. Or people have stopped buying lucky bags. If I had to guess, I would say the general public's impressions of lucky bag has dwindled. But I want to hear your opinion. Have you purchased lucky bags in the past? Did you like them? Did you ever get anything that you were like, this is so nice? Again, the stuff in there were high quality, expensive stuff. Like I got a lot of hair, very, very expensive hair stuff that I would have never bought. And I never used them. I gave away a lot of the stuff that came to me. I sold a lot of the stuff that I got. And, you know, after a few years of ordering it, I was like, why am I ordering this? Like the act of unboxing a lucky bag is always exciting, but I don't need anything that's in there. Anyway, I'm curious to know if you all bought any of these. Karla Cosmetics is dropping a couple of things, but the exciting one I think is the Velvet Dreams Rainbow Multichrome, which is a 5-in-1 eyeshadow pan. And then also the New Lagoon Waves Satin Multichrome Face Highlighter. Beautiful, but I don't need either of these. I don't need either of these. Moving on. Let's talk about this one, ColourPop's Golden Hour. I hate to say this because ColourPop is and continues to be a brand that I kind of watch and like, and I think they have reasonable prices with great quality. But you all remember their Yes Please palette? Was it Yes Please palette or You Had Me at Hello? That palette I would buy. This palette I would not. I don't know what's going on. I keep saying this, that I think ColourPop is going backwards. But if you like this, you can buy it. I think it's already available for $24 at Ulta. Yeah. Oh, it's coming on the 7th. Do I want to talk about the expensive Sonia G brush set? Sunset Cranes Maki brush set for $220. $220 for 4 brushes, friends. You know what? I'm just going to say this. Like, I understand that there's this concept of luxury. I'm going to use a little bit more of this green just to green it out a little more. I wish this palette had a darker color. Like one of these colors was way darker than this. But I can't wait to use this palette together with the other one, Inspired. I'm now using brush 4 back into Tanagra, and I'm going to do my lower lash line. But what I was going to say is about spending an ungodly amount of money on makeup. And trust me, I'm there with you all. Like, I have spent obviously an unnecessary amount of money on makeup, and I'm getting to the point of thinking to myself, are these products really worth this price that we're paying for them? You know, what makes 4 brushes worth $220? That's more than $50 a brush. Like, what is this brush made of? Because the price essentially is what you're willing to pay for something, not some arbitrary number. I can sell this brush to you for $2 million. If nobody on earth wants to buy it for that price is meaningless. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And I'm getting to the point of really questioning all of these brands that are selling things for more than $60. If I see something sold for more than $60, I'm gonna wonder, what's in this? Why is it more than that amount? Why am I paying so much? Because our salaries have not gone up. but every price of everything is going up. I'm going to go now with brush number 5 to Gelad. I'm essentially becoming poorer by giving these brands my money, the money that I don't even have, you know? And I'm both doing this as well as just blending this lower lash line. And the truth is, I hear people tell me, well, you know, the presentation is so beautiful, like the packaging is this and the... Okay, fine, I'm willing to pay some amount for packaging, but the packaging is gonna last, you know, a day for me. The minute I start using that brush, the packaging is irrelevant. The brush itself needs to justify that insane price, you know? I don't get this. I don't think there is a single hourly rate in the US that is more than like $19 an hour. I think California, San Francisco Bay Area salary is $19 an hour. Actually, let me look it up. San Francisco Bay Area minimum wage as of July 2023 was $18. Let's just round that up and say it's $20. For someone who makes minimum wage in California, they have to work 11 hours to be able to afford this brush set. How many people out there make $220 an hour? Think about it. How many hours of our salary is this brush costing? Anyway, I rest my case. You might not be here to hear that, but honestly, that is the truth of where we're living. Now, again, maybe with some of these luxury brands, we're getting some amount of that experience. I'm going to use Baste Booster from BH. Maybe we're getting some amount of the experience, but I'm also seeing other brands that are indie brands, and I'm going to put this here. Indie brands and otherwise that are also charging us ridiculous amounts for palettes that don't have a mirror, that have very generic packaging. People have been telling me about AI art. Now, I have nothing against using AI art. If a brand tells me I want to use AI art so I can provide cheaper packaging, and you don't have to, like, if I didn't provide AI art, packaging would have been way more, I'd be fine with that. In fact, I think I'm generally not as picky based on a lot of the brands I've used that you all have seen. I'm not as picky in packaging of products. I care a lot more about the quality of what's inside a palette. So if the pans are high quality, I care more about that. There are definitely brands I can think of off the top of my head. If you've watched my declutter video, my lashes are sticking to each other. You know which brands I'm talking about that provide packaging that is just probably a template downloaded from somewhere, but they have amazing quality and I still buy from them. But I'm getting to the point of thinking, before I finish that sentence, let me quickly go into this beautiful obsidian order because my eyes will otherwise keep getting stuck to each other. And this is going here. So I'm telling myself, you haven't invested a lot of time and money in the packaging. You might be private labeling the product itself. Again, nothing against private labeling. Beauties. If you're private labeling something out of China, it's not worth paying $70, $80, $90 for. If people are charging Natasha Denona prices for something that's produced in a much cheaper manufacturing country, so Natasha Denona is produced in Italy, which is a European country. Prices are in euros. And production in European countries is a lot more expensive than production in Asian countries. Just how much labor costs in those countries, which is part of the reason why we buy a lot of Chinese things, because they're cheaper. Again, we're not talking about quality here. We're talking about just location of manufacturing and cost of labor in those countries. If somebody's producing in China, white labeled, and they are also using AI art and they're using cardboard packaging, do I want to pay $70, $80, $90, $100 or more for a palette? What am I paying for? Why are the palettes so expensive? Friends, knowing the price of everything is going up, including the price of essential life items, of course, I'm at a point where I need to prioritize where my money goes. I have to buy the grocery, even if the price of everything has gone up by $1. But the things I can cut back on are the things that are luxury, like the 5,000th palette. I don't need that when I already have 5,000. You saw in my declutter video. In fact, I'm probably going to go through another declutter in March. So obviously, come time on cutting back on costs, makeup is the one that I have to cut back on. And also, I'm going to become much more judicious on where my money is going. Is it worth paying that much for these palettes? I would love to hear your thoughts. Write to me what you're thinking about this in the comments below, because brands are going to continue charging us. I'm going to go into Lal as long as we're paying that price. If we demand that is not a reasonable price by just not buying the products, then brands would need to either bring the price down or think of something else. I was thinking this color is going to look gorgeous with the blue in element 115. Anyway, I talk about all of these thoughts in a few of my other videos. I'll tag both of them in the description box below. If you're curious, you can check those out. Let's get back to the new makeup releases. So we're talking about Sonia G. I don't have $220 to buy these. Sorry, Sonia G, but not sorry. Ensley Rain, we talked about Cold Moon palette. I mean, it's pretty, not my color story, and whatever 90 something dollar that they're charging for it is insane to me. So I'm not buying this. You know, I think it's a lot more worth for me to have the control of using, if I wanted to spend $90 on shades, to use that $90 to buy singles, specific singles that I really want. So I'm not buying this. Morphe has 35Y or Escape Artistry palette. I mean, this palette is as unexciting as can be. But the interesting thing about this is that Morphe went out of business. Why are they still producing new products? I mean, good for them. Good for them. Don't get me wrong. You know, they're evidently sell. But that was interesting to me to see that they are coming out with new things. Not buying, and Playing in Makeup by Yolando is a brand that I'm interested in because they are known for releasing things in the past that were very colorful and beautiful. It's just this palette is not the one because it's very neutral and it's also super, like, it has a lot of grays. I don't really use grays often. I also feel like it has a lot of dupes in the neutrals. But that top row should have been a palette by itself, and I would have bought that. I unfortunately don't have a price, but I'm pretty sure you can use someone's code for discount. Also, Makeup on Your Radar, which is one of the channels that I use on Instagram for figuring out what is being released. Definitely check out that channel. It's tagged below, and Jamie, the owner of the channel, has her own discount codes that she marks in her channel in the different releases that are posted on the channel. So you can, if you want, you can use her codes. But of course, if you know another influencer that has a code, you can do that. Notoriously Morbid's now has the Season of the Witch for winter. We saw the other ones, they were all pretty. Notoriously Morbid is a brand I want to try, but I've decided I've closed the budget for this year. Palette's $35 and it's pretty, very beautiful. Definitely a brand I want to try in 2024, but it has to be April onwards because I'm not buying anything until April. I know Beauty and the Frizz received this palette in PR, and she might post looks with it if you're curious. Definitely check out her channel. I'll put her channel also down below. Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm. I am not in the market for highlighters. I have a lot of highlighters and I don't use them. There's a lot of perfumes that have come out in beauties. I am a perfume person, but that's another thing that I kind of have too much of, so skipping it. Charlotte Tilbury Queen of Luck Quad. If you're interested, I'm excited for you. $55, not for me. And this should already be available. Natasha Denona now has the My Mini Dream collection, which is the mini version of her Dream palette. The mini palette is $27. The Dream Glow blush is $20 and it's already available. It released December 23rd at Sephora and 24th on other places. I already talked when the original palette came out that this is a little bit too neutral for me. I don't think I'm gonna wear these one of these days though, because if Natasha Denona, or when Natasha Denona releases a Circo Loco mini or midi, then we're talking. I'm looking forward to that day. A couple of things from Tarte that I already saw at Sephora when I went to Sephora some days ago. Glamazon Amazonian Clay eyeshadow palette. I mean, this is the most colorful thing I've ever seen from Tarte, so good for you, Tarte. Thinking a little bit outside of the box, but of course not for me, not colorful enough. It's $47. And we also have this one, which is, I think brands are realizing people might want more travel friendly options. This is called Glamazon To Go eyeshadow palette for $29. Again, super neutral, not for me. We also have this, which is Kira Beauty's Electric Disco. This is a palette of all pressed glitters. If you're someone who use glitters and are excited about things, and I know there are some of you out there, because in a lot of videos I talk about the fact that I don't use glitters in this channel because I thought most people don't, but then some people reached out to me and said that they actually do. So write to me in the comments below. I want to learn, would you buy a palette like this, or are you the type of person who go and buy like loose glitters? I'm curious. I'm learning something. This is another thing. This is from Inglot. 40 years of celebrating your beauty. So friends, if you don't know, Inglot is a Polish brand. I have visited many Inglot stores when I was in Poland. I've been to Poland many times for work, and I contemplated buying some stuff, but it just never happened. I also don't know, can you even buy this in the US? Is there an Inglot store in the US? I actually don't know. If you know, let me know, but I don't need any makeup, and this is also obviously very neutral for me. But let's talk about this one. This one is what made me be like, okay, let's use some Adept, separate from the fact that I don't think I had used enough of my Adept palettes. And this is going to be the last thing we're going to talk about, which is Adept sneak peeking that they're preparing for 2024, and they released this photo. And thanks to Banshee Muse for tagging me on here. It's called Flying Fiddles, and it's giving me very Valentine's Day vibes, you know, with the very beautiful sultry packaging. Maybe I'll manifest this, maybe I'll just guess this, but I'm wondering if they're gonna do something in the mauve, reddish to mauvish, like a Valentine's type of range, because that is something they don't have, right? And that is something that would be a great addition to their collection. Let me know what you all are thinking. I would love to hear your guesses about this palette, but as I said, I'm going on a no buy. But if there's one thing I'm gonna buy during that no buy, sorry about the car noise in the background. Yeah, if there's one thing I'm gonna buy during that no buy, it would be this palette. Of course, I need to first see what it looks like inside. Okay friends, I'm back. I put a little bit of Obsessed. This is a Tarteist lip paint on my lips, and this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing if you're not subscribed yet. Also, as I mentioned, there's a few questions that I asked in this video that I'm so excited to hear the answer from you all. Namely, what do you all think about the price hikes of all these indie palettes? I love you all. Have an amazing day. Happy holidays, and until next time, bye.